Hey everyone, so with 6 kids, I am always looking for more storage in my house. I like to use every nook and cranny. So I designed the cutest 4-door console. I cannot wait for you to see the doors. This one's gonna go in my entryway, and you're gonna love the storage on the inside too. So let's get to work. The first step I'm doing in this cabinet is making my crosscuts. Now I'm using 2x6s because I had a lot of them here in the shop, but you can also use 2x4s, save a little bit of money, especially why lumber is so expensive. So I'm making my crosscuts before I take them to my table saw to rip them down to 3 inches. So I made my crosscuts and now I'm over at my table saw and I'm going to rip these down for the rest of the build. So I know my top pieces that are gonna make the top of this cabinet are gonna be 5 inches, and I know that my face frame is gonna be 3, so I'm going to get to work. So I have my cuts made. I went ahead and ripped my 2x down to 3 inches, and I've also made my cross cuts just to make things a little bit easier. And I have set up my new Craig jig to do the pocket holes. So this is gonna be using 1.5 inch pocket holes. I already have my drill bit set to 1.5. I love Craig's new drill bits with the guide on them. It saves so much time. And I've got this bad boy set up. Some of y'all may have seen us talk about this on social media. It's pretty awesome because I think my favorite feature about the 720 Pro is that you can switch thicknesses of wood without adjusting everything. So it just streamlines the process so much. Before I was working with 2 Craig jigs to save time, just because I'm lazy. And now I can do it this way. So I've got it set up, ready to go. And I am making my pocket holes. You can definitely set yours up on a bench somewhere. This one's pretty awesome, comes with a clamp. I like to keep mine on a board so I can move it around the shop. So this is my middle support board. I've got my pocket holes made, and I'm gonna go ahead and move on and make the rest. So I have all of my face frame cut, and I also added my pocket holes with Craig jig just a minute ago, and now I'm gonna start building these face frames. So we're gonna have 2 identical face frames for this cabinet, which makes it super easy. I am adding wood glue using my glue bot. One of our favorites. I can link to that in the description box so y'all can check it out. Super inexpensive, huge time saver. Time and glue saver. And I'm trying out my new Greenworks drill, which I am loving. This is actually the first time I've used it. Kind of exciting. It's great. I like how small it is in my hands too, because I have small hands. All right, so I've got this corner set. Now these are 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. Again, I'm using wood glue, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the opposite on the other side. So I have my sides attached, and now I'm adding my center piece, and this is also a 3 inch wide 2x, and I've lined it up center. I've marked center with a pencil so I can line it up nice and straight. I'm attaching that using wood glue and 2.5 inch pocket hole screws through those 1.5 inch pocket holes. My final step in the face frame is going to be to attach the bottom 2 pieces. These are also done with 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. And you'll see these are lined up 1 inch from the base of my leg. So you want to mark that to make sure you have it nice and flush so that your doors will fit nice and square when we build them. So now I'm doing the side panels, and these actually, because I'm painting my base, it doesn't matter which side I put my pocket holes. If you are going to be staining it, you definitely want like the uglier side, the side you're not going to be seeing as much on the inside, and that's where you're going to put your pocket holes. So we're going to be putting pocket holes down both longer sides and on the top. That is it. So here we go. So I have my pocket holes done on this side. That's going to be the inside, and now I'm going to create the trim. I'm not going to create it, I'm actually going to attach it. I'm going to attach the trim on the bottom. Now these are 1x4 boards that are ripped to the same width. Using my glue bot again. And I'm just going to line these up. Again, you want to always try to pick your prettier side. And I'm attaching these using 1.25 inch brad nails and my nailer. All right, now I'm going to do the exact same thing, on the opposite side. and repeat this on my other board. So at this point, I'm ready to attach my side pieces and my middle divider to one of my face frames. So I'm going to pick that face frame and lay it face down on the ground. I'm attaching both side pieces and the middle divider using those 3/4 inch pocket holes that we created and 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. So I'm adding glue where my edges line up and all the way down. What we want to do is make sure that this board right here, this is going to be the top of our cabinet. Ridiculous motorcyclist, I should say. Okay, we're going to line this up and make sure it's nice and flush. Easier said than done with one hand. And that's where we'll make sure it attaches. Again, this is the top of my cabinet right here. Both my sides are attached, and now I am going to add the pocket holes for the base of the cabinet. I said middle divider initially, but I totally forgot. We've got to add our base first. So I'm going to add, this is also this 3/4 inch plywood. I'm adding 3/4 inch pocket holes all the way down actually all 4 sides. Here we go. At this point, I'm going to add my center divider. So I have my pocket holes all the way around. I've added glue and I've already marked for center. And I'm attaching everything using the 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws through my pocket holes. And this is attaching to the face frame right now. And it's also attaching to the base. But in a later step, we're also going to attach it to the top. Okay, at this point we have our sides done, we have our middle divider there, and now we're going to attach the other face frame to complete the base of the cabinet. I stood it up straight, and now I can add my pocket hole screws down the front. When I'm done with that, I'll flip it back down and get the ones on the base. The base of my cabinet is pretty much done. I do put the back on, but I'm gonna do that in my last step because I think it's easiest. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the pocket holes on my top board. So these are 2x. I've ripped them to 5 inches wide each. We're gonna have 4 of them, 62 inches long. And I'm gonna add 1 1/4 inch pocket holes. Excuse me, I'm actually gonna add 1 1/2 inch pocket holes down 3 boards on one side, because that's how we're gonna plank. This is just like we plank our dining tables. Again, you wanna make sure that you put your ugly side down. That's where you want your pocket holes to be. Now I'm attaching my planks, and I'm using 2 1/2 inch pocket hole screws through those 1 1/2 inch pocket holes. And one great tip on this part, guys, is to use a Craig clamp. So this is one of their larger 6-inch Automax clamps. I can link in the description box below. What it's awesome about is reaching over that board and kind of holding these two at level, and that way you can keep your boards nice and straight. Really the easiest way we found. So I will link to that and get these attached. So we're ready for our doors at this point. I have my top built, but I'm not attaching it just yet. I'm gonna go ahead and stop and work on these doors. Okay, so each door is constructed with 1/2 inch plywood. I've cut each of these to the same size. I believe they're 12 5/8 by 27 5/8, but you can definitely download the free plans if I just spoke that incorrectly. And I'm trimming these doors out using 1x2. So this is so simple. All I'm doing is adding a line of glue, still got the snippets, down each side. And I've got my trim pieces, lining them up flush. And I'm going to attach everything using 1-inch brad nails because I don't want it to pop through. Speaking from experience. Nice and flush. Since I'm painting these doors, I'm not worried about the nail holes. I will just fill those before I paint them. Cool, all right. So I've got these two done. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other 3 doors, and then we'll move on to the horizontal trim. Now I'm ready to attach my horizontal trim, and this is also 1x2. I've already held it up in place. I marked it with a pencil. Best way to get perfect measurements, I believe. And I'm attaching it just like I did the other trim with 1-inch brad nails. and glue. All right, so now we're ready for the fun part. For the trim of this door, I wanted to do something really fun and different, and I found these really great wall panels. I will be linking to these in the description box. They're just like a foam material, so that's one reason I chose to paint this whole piece. I've already taken my first one and gone straight through my table saw, straight down the center, it cut like butter. So I think that's probably going to be your easiest way. I know you could probably do a jigsaw too if that's what you have. And I am going to use a piece of this trim on each of these doors to frame it out. So this should be fun. Let's do it. I am so excited, guys. This is turning out so cute. I cannot wait. So all I have left to do now is get this thing painted up. I'm gonna add stain to the top part. I think that's gonna be just a really cool combination, and I cannot wait to show you the hardware that I picked up too. So yeah, I gotta get to work. So before I stain and paint, I am going to use my sander to go over all of my corners, tops, everywhere to get a nice smooth finish. This turned out so great. I love it in my entryway. It gives me all the storage, and how about those doors? I love the trim. It's just so cute. Y'all be sure to subscribe. You do not want to miss another one of our videos.